Hey Journey, so good to be with you in 2021 for the first ever Midweek Conversation.
That feels good to say, 2021.
It does feel good to say that. Welcome, Pastor Dustin.
Yes, good to be here.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you as well. So good to have you with us.
Yeah. Have a good New Year?
I had a great New Year.
Quiet? Loud? Do you set off fireworks and you create problems in your neighborhood?
Well, I don't know if this is your neighborhood or theirs, but we don't celebrate New Year's just on New Year's Eve. We do it for about 5 days.
I know, exactly.
And we have a dog, and it was a little chaotic.
Yeah. Same in our neighborhood. They do it for the few days before and even a couple days after there.
Yeah.
But we hope you had a good holiday season. One of the things we want to do as we begin here is we want to jump back just a little bit because we've not had an opportunity to talk about Christmas Eve under the stars. Yep. And we want to talk just a little bit about that. First of all, thank you for the people that joined us. How many people joined us, Pastor Dustin?
We had almost 1,400 people in person.
Yeah, and you know what, I got to say, they're trying to count in the dark. So I'm not sure how you count. So I would say there was at least 1,400 people here. There may have been some more.
It seemed packed, and if you were one of the people here, you saw that. And if you weren't here, it was really cool. I think we had really the church on display to where we could have a really special in-person gathering. Yeah. But the online option was also so well done. Our team did such a great job. And so however you were able to watch, hopefully it was a good experience. So
yeah, we've had a lot of people comment on both and how much they enjoyed it. One, the on-site that we did here with Lake County and Apopka coming together. And that was a cool thing to have our Lake County congregation, our staff from Lake County serving alongside the staff of Apopka here. Cool. That was a cool thing to see. So we felt that was a win.
Many of them were praying, and their answers, the Lord answered your prayers. You were praying for no rain.
Yeah. Boy, and it was sketchy, the forecast. Now the whole day long until then was beautiful. It was beautiful. But then and warm. But then we were concerned about rain. All that rain held off until they got everything packed away. Yeah. So the service completed and got things loaded back up. And as soon as they got everything loaded up,
it just downpoured.
The heavens opened.
Now it was our fault. We asked everybody to pray for no rain. We didn't ask anybody to pray for no wind. And
it was windy.
The wind was out in full force.
Yeah, candlelight outside. We're going to have to rethink that.
Yeah.
If we do another outdoor service that involves candles, that was a challenge. Yeah. I was determined to get mine lit, to get let my little light shine. But I just could not get that candle stay lit. You said some people actually had theirs lit.
They did. We had some people on the front row, some Mavericks.
Bunch of Boy Scouts down there know how to build a fire.
They made it work. The back row folks, where I was, we couldn't figure it out.
The cell phone flashlight, that worked out really well. We had a lot of cell phones up, and that kind of stood in for the candlelight. But that was good. But online, so many people talked about our online Christmas Eve, and just so grateful. So maybe you joined us online, and hopefully that was a really meaningful experience with you and those that were watching with you.
And if you haven't, you can still go back. That's the beauty of it. You can go back and watch it, and would love encourage you to watch that. Really cool.
So one of the things that we did is we had a special giveaway basket.
We did
for a new guest. And we had several families that let us know, at least filled out a card. Of course, that's the trick every weekend. We have a lot of guests. We don't always get them, get information from them. And so...
And on Christmas Eve, as soon as service is over, they're trying to take off.
Yeah, well, they're trying to beat that rain.
Well, what we did is I told everybody, we had this nice gift basket if you weren't here, and said it was full of goodies, and I was going to deliver it after the service. Wherever they lived, I was going to deliver it. And we pulled the card out, and they lived on the coast. And I thought to myself...
And that's not nearby Apopka.
No. And I thought to myself, what did I get myself into? However, there was a connection with Pastor Roddy.
Yes.
And
Pastor Roddy Connor.
I don't know if I can follow the trail of how they were connected. It was sons, girlfriends, brothers, something or
something
other
like that,
came for the first time,
Yes.
and luckily enough, they were actually going out to dinner right afterwards.
And they guessed within 7 to 8 of how many peppermints there were in the jar.
I'll tell everybody, some people probably want to know, there were 200, and I believe if I'm accurate, it was 239, and I think they guessed 247.
How about that? So
I believe that
they
was
were the closest.
Yep.
So they got the gift basket. You see a picture here. This is Pastor Roddy delivering the gift basket.
Yep.
And we got to say something about this picture. That picture is not photoshopped.
No.
That guy is 7'1". Now we won't get into Roddy's vertical stature here. We're not going to comment on that height, but that guy makes Roddy look like he's on his knees.
Even if I didn't pull their card out, I would have just gave it to him. I would have said, "Here you go. You get it.
You win for being a over 7 foot human being."
Yes.
Well, so that was
And
cool.
they're both Gators, University of Florida Gators.
well.
So, yep.
It was all good till then. No, that's true.
So they were college students.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thanks, Pastor Roddy, for helping us out with that. And thank you again for joining us for Christmas Eve under the stars. When we started out, it was kind of cloudy, and I looked up, and there was the moon that you could barely see and one star. And I told my wife, I said, it's Christmas Eve under the star, because that's kind of...
And it was appropriate, yes.
Yeah, it was. But
it was a good night.
we had such a great team of people that worked so hard to put all that together. Our tech team, our music team, our guest services, our family fun zone that we had. So many families. Yeah. Smores Pit was a hit, but boy, was it messy. I mean, I walked over there and I had to just kind of, hey, don't touch me, because kids were everywhere with gooey s'mores.
It was everywhere, chocolate. But it was a hit.
It was a hit, yeah. The Smores Pit worked out good.
Yeah, it was good. And, one of the things I thought was cool is we had so many staff volunteering and serving in areas that's not a part of their job description.
Right, yeah.
And the point I'm getting at with that is everybody played a role.
Yeah.
Because you may not be aware of this, not everybody that's on our staff works on Sunday, puts together our services. We got a lot of business staff, a lot of other staff.
Yeah,
and
support staff.
And so many people, everybody played a role. It was just it was cool. We walked away grateful for our team, grateful for Journey. And for that to be the last in-person gathering of 2020, I thought, thank you, Lord, for giving us that encouragement.
Yeah.
And it was a good night.
Good. The Sunday after Christmas Eve, we did an online only. We kind of took what I would call an organizational break. We just kind of had the big Christmas Eve under the stars on Thursday and trying to come back on Sunday and put a whole nother service together. Just felt like we just needed an organizational break. And I think we stumbled onto something because what we did is we put together a review of the year with some of the most watched messages, some of the highlights from a worship and music viewpoint, some key things that happened in our ministry. And so many of you watched that and said how much you appreciate that, enjoyed that. So I think moving forward, that's kind of a good way to end the year with that review.
Yeah, I think one of the things that was good for us as an organization, and maybe even for you personally, is we look back on 2020 and everybody naturally wants to think, man, what a horrible year it was. But the truth is, God did some really incredible things.
Yeah.
And I think it's in looking back and reflecting that we remember God's faithfulness.
Yeah.
And I think that's good for an organization. I think it's good for you personally. It's one of the reasons why I journal, some people journal. Whatever it is you do, find ways to look back and go, that's right, God did show up. He did move.
Yeah.
And as we made that, we realized God did so many things in 2020 that we were grateful for.
Let me say another thing too. Many of you gave a year-end gift, and just so thankful for that. Some folks were just very generous in their year-end giving. And that I want to say again, thank you so much. Thank you for giving to God through Journey, for letting your treasure lead your heart deeper into the kingdom of God. I think that's so important. And as we come to the end of the year, it not only helps us finish the year strong, it sets us up for ministry in 2021. And as we jumped into the first Sunday of 2021, we just saw the favor of God in a lot of ways. I kind of described our first services of this year, January the 3rd, 2021. They were sweet. There was a sweet, there's an old song called, it goes, there's a sweet, sweet spirit in this place. And I know that it's the Spirit of the Lord. And there was just a sweet spirit among us this past Sunday at Apopka and at Lake County for our services?
I think one of the biggest things we can do for God, but also for our pastors, for our leaders, show up hungry. When you show up hungry,
boy, you could sense that.
It creates energy, and people are hungry for worship.
Yeah.
People are hungry for the word, and this is what I know about God. He always feeds hungry people. And the more that journey, the more you keep showing up hungry, the more we commit to doing whatever it takes to feed you and prepare and give you whatever we can to help lead you to Christ. And you guys showed up hungry, and it was fun. And we got to see kind of the fruit of that with some baptisms as well.
Yeah, we did. We had 7 baptisms, 5 at 9:30 at Apopka and 2 at the 11:15 service at Apopka. And almost all of them were unplanned. They were just kind of spontaneous, Spirit-prompted baptisms in the moment, and that was so cool to see as well. That gives us a great start to the year, celebrate, and what a great Sunday to be baptized, the first Sunday of the year. It's kind of like, hey, new year, new you, new creation, and going all in on that.
We saw a high school student, college students, adults,
single moms.
I mean, it wasn't one group. It was just a variety, and really, really, really cool. And I do attribute that to just showing up hungry. God, what can you do in me? What can you do in us in 2021? So
we started a new series this past week. If you haven't been able to connect with what we did this past week, I encourage you to do that. You can go online and watch the rebroadcast. It's on demand, so you can watch the full service, or you can just watch the message part. I encourage you to watch the whole service. But we did a new sermon series called Love Is, and just felt like it was important after the contentious, cantankerous year that 2020 was in so many ways, to just say, hey, let's just take a step back and let's just say what is most important. And love. Life is about love, and that's at the heart. And that's what we tried to communicate this week in that introductory message, is that, even our mission statement is making disciples of Jesus that love God, love people, serve the world. Love is in our mission statement 2 times. But there's such a misunderstanding of what love is, and I felt like it would be good to just kind of reset our thinking and our hearts on that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that people look at 2021 and they say, man, what is the answer coming out of 2020? It's been hard. What is the answer? And I think people need love more than ever.
The answer is love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
That's what Jesus said. Or
we know the answer. It's an open book test.
Right, yeah.
And I love what we're doing in this series is actually, we all kind of know this idea of love, but really actually breaking it down and going, no, how can I be more loving?
Yeah.
And the truth is, you and I are never going to be perfect, but the community expects us to be loving.
Yeah.
And when the community doesn't see the church being loving, it makes them not want to be a part of whatever it is we're a part of. And again, there's not a perfection, because when we mess up, we go to our neighbor, we go to our friend and say, hey, that's my fault. Will you forgive me? That's my bad. And so walking through this series on how can we love and be loved and love others, I love it. And it was a great response, both online and in person, to the message. So clearly it resonated with people.
Good. Well, this week we're going to be talking about love is patient and kind. And particularly on the patient one, the Lord always works me over when I preach on patience, because I'm not patient. And
you still got to tune in, just because you know it's going to be patient, because some people might be like me and try to avoid a message on patience.
No, well, that means the God is telling you really need to pay attention to this, because that's what He tells me when I talk on particularly the patient part. But that's what we're going to be talking about this coming week. Hey, before we wrap up, I want to share something very important, and just ran across this today. So this is an article that I get. It's called Preaching Today, and it's just articles about preaching, which I'm interested in that because I love preaching and preachers. But this was something I thought was so important. I want you to listen to this very carefully. For the past 20 years, the Gallup organization, that's the organization that does all those polls, Gallup has asked Americans to rate their own mental or emotional well-being. One of the latest polls from November of 2020 found that the number of Americans who said their mental health is excellent dropped by 9%. That's the largest drop since they started this poll. During 2020, every category surveyed saw a significant dip in their emotional and mental well-being. I'm talking men, women, whites, non-whites, marriage, non-marriage, young, old, rich, poor, Democrats, Republicans. Now here's what I want you to pay attention. Only one group experienced a bump in mental well-being. Weekly churchgoers.
That's wild. Not cool.
Now listen, the survey didn't specify if they attended online or in person. So it's not about, hey, well, you got to be in person. No, there was no specificity about, hey, they're online. People who attended seldom or never saw a 13% drop in their mental and emotional well-being. People who said they attended monthly saw a 12% drop, but people who said they attend church services weekly had a 4% increase. And when you add a 4% increase with a 12% drop, that's an even more huge gap. People who attended services weekly had a 4% increase in their well-being, and that is in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah. It's one of the things, as we were talking about this, is, one of the phrases we talk about is the local church is the hope of the world.
Yeah.
And this is part of what we're talking about, because
it's almost scientific proof.
It really is.
Yeah, in many ways.
And some people think that Christianity is what's best for you in the next life, but it's both and.
Yeah.
It's Jesus wants something greater for you today and in eternity. And man, what a great example and illustration of weekly church attendance does matter. When you're weekly just jumping in, one of the things is some people don't connect with God except for church.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, that means they can go months without connecting with God or another believer intentionally, or worship or forgiving or repenting. And all those things are so healthy for your soul.
So one of the best things you can do in 2021 is to engage in worship weekly.
Yeah.
Engage, it could be online, it could be on site, whatever platform works best for you. I encourage you to be a part of our worship gatherings, and then take that next step that we're starting tomorrow night, Rooted.
Yep.
That Rooted is getting kicked off. Because as we love is not just abstract or in theory, we love in connection. We love in community. That's how we show we love. So being able to get in community like that, but just being in a biblically based, gospel-centered, Christ-focused community of believers, worshiping, studying, praying together, that makes such a huge difference to your well-being, to your own emotional and mental well-being. So the best thing you can do, either be at Lake County, or be at Apopka in person, or be online with us this Sunday. Tell someone who's struggling with some mental health or emotional well-being issues. Say, hey, you know what? Best thing you can do, according to research, you need to join me online or on site in worship.
And it's never been more convenient.
Never
I
been.
mean, it's never been more convenient to go to church. You may have worked a late shift and you could wake up at 11 on a Sunday and flip it on the website, Facebook or YouTube, and you're right there.
Yeah. So that would be the parting thing I'd just like to say to you this week.
Yep.
Can't think of anything more important to share with you than just the need to connect, that vertical connection that we have with the Lord in worship, and that horizontal connection that we have in fellowship with other believers. So important. So just want to encourage you with that. We invite you to join us this Sunday online or on site. If you're on site at Apopka or at Lake County, 9:30 and 11:15. We'll continue Love Is. Again, we're going to talk about love is patient and kind. And if that message is for nobody else, it's for me, because I need that. But I think it might help somebody else as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next week, if not this weekend.